It's tea talk time where the topics are real, relevant, and relaxing. It's tea talk time, and welcome to Tea Talk.
Well, welcome everyone to Tea Talk. As you can tell, Lady O is not here today. So Tracy and I will be talking with our guests. We have a wonderful and amazing guest today. Her name is Taylor. So I'm going to let Taylor, I want Taylor to come on in and join us. Hi, Taylor.
Hey y'all.
Welcome.
Welcome. Welcome to
Thank you so
Tea
much for
Talk. We're so
having me.
glad to have you.
Yes, thank you. I'm so glad to be here. I'm excited. I'm so
Yes.
excited.
Yes, I'm excited too. I'm excited too. So please tell us about tell us more about Taylor. Who is Taylor?
Okay. Well, my name is Taylor. I am from North Carolina, but I currently reside in Atlanta, Georgia. And I run Ashtay Products. We are a multicultural, minority-owned hair care company. We have been around. Next year, we'll be celebrating 30 years in business. It's
Wow.
crazy to think about that. And it's wild. It's wild. Um, Ashtay was created by my parents in 1994, and in 2020, they passed the reins to me to become the CEO of the company. Yeah, that's them right there.
Yes.
So they are love bugs, whatever, soulmates, the whole nine. So yeah,
That's
that's a little bit about what I do, my main job, but I also help my family to with their other enterprises as well. We do real estate, commercial real estate, and residential. So it keeps
mm,
us very business. We're like a little family of serial entrepreneurs.
wow, that is amazing. That is so cool. So we're talking about hair today. So
Yes.
I'm just curious. Tell me, did you have any self-esteem issues relating to your hair as a little black girl, a little African American girl? Did you have any experiences with that?
To be honest, it's one of those things, right? My mom was a cosmetologist. So my sister and I grew up in a salon atmosphere from infancy. We were literally in the middle of the salon playing while she's doing roller sets on Dominican women. So that
Mm,
is like my upbringing. And
okay.
then when she left the salon to create the hair care line with my dad, I was just always around hairstylists and being around hairstylists all the time. I just remember being around these women that to me, they were so put together all
Yeah.
the time. And it's one of those things I would just be like, oh my gosh, like I wish I like that is hashtag goals for real,
Yeah.
just me as a young woman growing up. And so I went through a lot of different stages with my hair. Like I used to have long hair. Um,
Hmm.
and my sister, honestly, she has hair that is like the camera's not even able to see it, but like imagine, I mean, just like a lion's mane of
Wow.
hair. But I used to have long hair, and then I remember in college, I decided, you know what? Carrie Hilson was popular at the time, and I was like, I want to go short. Like
Hmm.
a bob. And so I cut my hair short. And ever since then, I have never gone back. I have never gone back. I love it. But it did take a certain amount of confidence for me
Yes.
to be able to do that,
Hmm.
especially because I feel like so often there's not only this push towards being natural over being relaxed, whatever, but there's also this push towards, I wish I had my bookmark in here, but like the imagery that we see of Black women, it's always with long hair.
Yes.
And it's like my bookmark. I have these two bookmarks that I got from this awesome Black artist. And one of them is like, you got this. And the other one says, oh, I'm minding the business that pays me. And I love it, but both of them are with these Black women that have super long hair. And I think that's great. But I'm like, also, I wish we would promote stuff with people with short hair too, because I'm like, I don't have short hair because I can't grow my hair. I just have short hair because I like short hair. Like, why can't we just like everything? Why can't we promote everything, whatever it is that, you know, you want to have? Then let's just be about that.
Be
Like,
about
not
that.
necessarily pinning one over the other, you know?
Right, right, right. That's a very good point. And that's a very good I have another question. So, Tracy, do you have any stories about any childhood stories about hair? Whether long hair, short hair, kinky hair, curly hair?
Did we lose her?
So terms
Okay.
early
Where is she?
terms. We did the pressing comb,
Yes.
and the green and the blue grease, and you were in the kitchen all day with mom, and you'd hold your ear. That's what I remember, and it was every weekend. It was such a big deal, but it was also a bonding opportunity with my mom because she took so much pride. The other thing that was so funny about it was you were always so restricted of what you could do after that was done, right? So
Oh,
Yes.
at that hair press, you couldn't go outside.
Could not play.
So you had to at least let it sit and let everybody see your hair for at least a day or two before you went
Right.
outside.
absolutely.
So, and this was before the edge control and everything else. So I'm really laughing at, how advanced, how much further along we've come in hair products.
Yes.
know, right?
Yes. Yes.
Because back then it was you pretty much used whatever was on the shelf for shampoo and conditioner. You used that blue and green grease, that
Yes.
pressing comb, and that was about how you did it.
And that was about it. Yes.
You know
Yes.
what? It's so crazy you mentioned that pressing comb. That it makes me remember there was this lady we had as an educator for our company growing up. Her name was Miss Irene Parsons. She was from up north, older lady. I really don't know how old Miss Irene was. She had to be in her 60s, maybe early 70s. Just a real old school stylist. And she pressed me and my sister's hair with a pressing comb and Marcel irons. And I just remember back then, right, like when my parents were starting the company, they were kind of one of the first people to really start doing educational videos. Like this is back when they were on VHS.
Mm.
So we were filming this video and Miss Irene was the one teaching it. And of course, me and my sister, we're the models for it. And she's putting this pressing comb on our edges. And, we have to, when you're on video, you have to not flinch. You can't be acting
Right.
crazy in that chair. You need to look like you're having a great time. You need to be smiling.
Yeah.
Going to customers. And it's just, I just think looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, like she was phenomenal. Don't get me wrong. Like Miss
Yeah.
Irene she was bad at that pressing comb.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Well, hair is such it's $1 billion industry
Yeah.
for us because we want to look good. We want to feel good about ourselves. And so can you tell me like what's trending in African American hair care?
Oh my gosh, a lot right now. I feel like the simplest way I could probably put it, what's trending is individuality.
Mm.
That is becoming more and more popular. I feel like, especially since the Obama administration passed the law where, you cannot discriminate in corporate settings, even though it takes a while for the law to trickle down to everyone's everyday life.
Right.
What is trending is individuality, right? I mean, I feel even I'm going through that in my own personal journey, my own personal hair journey. My hair, the only color I would ever get was red. That was on my hair, even on my nails, everything. I never really ventured outside of that. It was red or nothing. My car is red. My hair is red. My toenails were red. That was the only color that I did. But now I've gotten green. I have purple and orange and fuchsia in my hair.
Yes.
And I'm starting to just venture out and really like Ms. Clark just said, be myself, right? Like, and explore that sense of individuality. And I'm seeing that across a lot of different industries and a lot of different people, both within the US and even outside of the US. We spoke to some girls in Guatemala last month at an event with the US Embassy. And these girls, they're young stylists, in that area. And there's not really a formal education for Black people to become stylists. But the Black people or the Afro descendants are called Garifuna. And these girls were just telling us about how even there's discrimination about their hair. And things like wearing braids, like you have, Miss Shelley, things like wearing braids got this woman denied a job at a bank. And they wanted her to take out her braids in order for her to be hired. And she said, no, I'm not doing that. And now she continues to speak up for women and speak up for people who are in those positions because she wants to make sure that her individuality can be represented and her individuality can come out in no matter what setting she is in, whether it be corporate or not. And so I feel like whether people are going natural, wearing relaxed hair, wearing colors, wearing braids, wearing protective styles, wearing weaves, sew-ins. Like I have two different wigs, one named Stacy and the other one's named Tanya. Like if I'm wearing Stacy, if I'm wearing Tanya, I'm representing me. At the end of the day, I'm just expressing my individuality. And that I believe is the biggest trend that I'm seeing,
Yes.
that people are becoming so much more comfortable with that than ever before.
Than ever before. I would totally agree. Before my mother passed, she used to always say, I'm so glad that Black women have so many options relative to their hair now. Yes.
Yes.
So, yes, I totally agree with that. Thank you so much for sharing. So, now tell me this, Taylor, since you grew up in the hair care industry, do you feel like you had from your parents the expectation that you would one day run the business, or were you given the option of doing something else?
That is a great question. So, although I will say, I think it's a lot of parents' desires for them to have kids that take on something, right? And I believe my parents, they do genuinely want that, right? However, it was never something that was a requirement
Mm,
or that was absolutely pushed on me. There were times when, well, let me go back. When I left college, when I graduated, I had the opportunity to go work full time somewhere else
mhm,
at the place that I had been working at while I was in college. And I loved it. And they wanted me. And I was just like, yo, like, I love it here. Do I go back? Do I go work in this family business? What do I do? And I wrote a pro con list. And ultimately, I decided to work within the family business.
mm,
And, some years go by. I left and I said, I'm not doing this anymore. And
mm,
I went and did my own thing. I did this gig where I was in Raleigh, North Carolina, then Nashville, Tennessee. Then I was out in Dallas, Texas for a month. And then I just kind of floated around for a bit. And then I was like, you know what? I'm moving to California. I shipped my car. I moved out to
mm.
California. I rented a room from this girl. I mean, it was me and my dog out in California, all of my belongings. And I was applying to jobs. I showed this during our business class in January. I have the video that I made to apply for this job like 5-6 years ago. I still have that
You
video.
still have it?
Yes, of this application that I did. It was a video application for a job. Like I was serious. Like I'm out. Later.
Isn't that something? So how did you end up? So what directed you back to your family business?
Two things happened. One, unknowingly at that time, my sister applied for us to be on the show CNBC The Profit.
Mm,
And we were chosen to be on that show. And so this was literally at the same time as me moving to California. So November, we find out that we were chosen. December, we find out, okay, this is really happening. And Marcus Lemonis, the host of that show, he came to shoot and he said, Taylor needs to be here. And so they bought me a flight to come back to North Carolina. And I was there, we shot, and then I was back in California. I was like, okay, I'm still applying for these jobs.
mhm,
And then there was this event. I have a really, really bad memory. So I do not remember the name of it, but it was this workshop that this couple does in Southern California. And I had heard about it through this couple that goes to a church in Lansing, Michigan. And they were like, Taylor, you should really go to this, right? And it was really about, I don't know how to explain it. It was like a worship workshop, like
mm,
learning how to worship God and using your voice, not even necessarily like as a singer, but using your voice to properly worship God.
mm.
And to be honest, I don't remember the content of
Yeah.
that workshop. But the one thing that I do remember was the conviction that I had while I was there. I
Mm,
remember this like it was yesterday. I was in my Airbnb. When I feel convicted, I start pacing. And I was pacing around this apartment I had rented for that event, and I was talking to my mom, and the conviction to come back to the family business was so heavy on me. And I said, it's crazy because I've never told this story to anybody, but I said, I don't, I said that me coming back is not because you all have put this obligation on me or you guys have put this requirement on me by any means. I said, I'm realizing that me coming to it is because I genuinely have a vision for the company that I want to execute. And I believe I need to come back. And this was, it was at a time where I was doing a lot of reflection, right? Like I had driven from San Jose, California to what's the city that they have Coachella, that desert town? Like,
Yes, yes. My daughter was just there, and I can't
yeah.
think of the name of it either. Yes,
I
but I
can't think
know
of
what you're
the name of
talking
the
about.
city, but I mean,
Yes.
it's not like it's not a 3-4 hour drive. We're talking about 6-7 hours. I was driving this by myself, and it was on my birthday that I chose to go to this, right? So it was just, I'm driving this by myself there and back, being there this whole time, right? Just hearing the Holy Spirit, being convicted about all this. It was just a lot of emotions.
Wow.
So,
Yeah. And you know what I love about your story, Taylor, is that you had to experience all of that in order to get to the place of this is truly what I want to do. I'm not being forced. It's not a burden on me. This is the vision. This is what I really want to do. That's when it's real.
Yeah.
yeah, very much so. Very much so. Because it was me grappling with, going into a family business. And this is, I even talked about this with a young lady whose mom owns her mom owns daycare facilities in North Carolina, and they have a great business, right? And then another young woman whose mom runs a salon in Florida. She wants to leave her full-time job and help her mother in this salon business. However, the issue is there's a pay difference, and that working in corporate America, and especially for me, I was out in Northern California, right? I was applying to tech jobs. Working in Northern California and in a tech job, at that time, I would have gotten paid double than what a family business based out of North Carolina could afford, just because of the industry difference alone. So it was, okay, I really had to make sure that I'm making this decision because it's what I genuinely want to do in my heart and soul. And it panned out so great that week we got another call saying, hey, the Prophet is coming back to film. We'll be there on Friday. That was the Friday of MLK weekend. And I flew back out to North Carolina. This time I brought my dog. I don't know what told me to bring my dog, but something told me to bring my dog. And thank God I did. Because when I left California and went back to North Carolina that weekend, I never went back to Cali.
Never went back.
Never went back. My sister, who lived in San Jose at the time, she works for Google. She had to go to my apartment a couple weeks later when we realized that I'm not coming back. She had to go to my apartment and get the key from this girl, pack up all my stuff, put it in my car, and we had to ship my car back in February of that year.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's an amazing story. That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. So, Tracy, did you have some questions that you want to share with Taylor?
Yeah, I'm just blown away with your story, the testimony of how that transition happened. And I want to personally thank y'all for the commitment to Black, being hair products, because we know it's $1 billion plus industry. And I was just sharing with the ladies backstage that, growing up, our products were so limited.
Yeah.
And I grew up in Dallas, and we had a one particular line of African American line. I don't know if you're familiar with Proline, but I just remember, man, we don't have a lot of choices. So when I heard about y'all, I was just so excited. But one of the questions that came to mind, I thought about, well, when your parents started the business, what did they mention to you as far as some of the obstacles or some of the challenges of starting the business?
I think the biggest challenge with starting any kind of product-based business, especially, but any business, but definitely product-based business, is access to capital. It's one of those things that people really, really, really underestimate. And with
Mm-hmm.
product-based businesses, it requires a lot of money continuously being put back in and put back in and put back in order to grow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an issue. Hey, even 30 years later, right? We have to make sure that we are literally investing money back into the company. A lot of people think that, hey, they can just create this LLC, create a great product, and boom, it's going to sell itself, and then they're going to be rich, and that's going to be it. But without realizing that you have to continually have access to capital in order to grow. It's why even tech companies, you see them going through, seed rounds of funding to
Mm-hmm.
get millions of dollars in aid in order to be able to grow. Even though they have no physical product that they're selling, even software as a service companies, they have no physical product, no things that they're shipping, no things that they have packaging for, no boxes, no warehousing. They just have people costs.
Mm-hmm.
And the people costs alone and the tech costs alone cost millions of dollars, and they have to continually raise capital in order to grow those businesses in those first few years. One of the podcasts that I listened to is How I Built This with Guy Raz, and listening to the guy who created Shopify was very interesting for me, because listening to the sacrifices that he made initially, both him and his wife that they made initially, was very interesting, just to see, wow, like they stuck it out for some time before they actually started making money. And it's the same thing that my parents went through, just being able to access capital. There were times that they were a little unconventional, and to be quite honest, in the 90s you could do these types of things.
Mhm.
But they literally would raise money with clients. And
Mhm.
back then, I mean, I've got to give it up to them, right? Because they've created this amazing, just like network of clients that are just
Mm.
hardcore, die-hard Ashtay. Like, one of our educators has Ashtay tattooed on her arm, literally.
Really? Wow.
Die-hard Ashtay fans.
Mhm.
So they've created this great network, right? And so at one point, when they needed capital to be able to really grow the business, they reached out to some clients, and these clients invested money with them, right? And I'm not talking about, $2,000, $3,000. I mean, like tens of thousands, like over 100 grand in funds that they raised, right? And back then, them not knowing how these types of investments really worked, they
Mhm.
promised everybody 100% return on their money.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Mm.
So if somebody gave $30,000,
They
they gave them $60,000.
It's back. Oh, wow.
Now,
wow.
that's crazy. Like, no investment has that type of returns nowadays. And they did
Exactly.
this within a very short period of time, right? Like a 2-3 year turnaround,
Mhm.
probably closer around the 2 year side, where they got that money, they invested it in the business, and they made it back, and they paid everybody back their principal plus 100% interest.
Wow.
Wow.
That is
That's amazing.
that is amazing.
And they're still here. They're still solvent,
30 years now,
Yes.
30 years later.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
And that is really encouraging, because we know funding for us is very, very
Mm,
limited. So just to have someone that's willing to, you know, to make that sacrifice is amazing, that they were able to do that.
right. Yeah.
So let me ask you this. With that being said, how have y'all been able to stay competitive and resilient in this industry? Because we know now it's grown, it's a lot of competition. So how have you been able to stay resilient?
That's a great question. Um, to be honest, I think it's because of a few things. One, we keep our head down and mind our own business. This is something that my mother teaches in all of her classes. Mine, or they both teach in their classes, mining our own business. And it's one of those things that I've been hearing for years, but it wasn't until this year that I really, really, really understood it. But MINE, to mine your own business, to literally be mining it every single day. And that is one thing that we do, which means that if you're mining your own business, right? Mining is done down in a cave with a pick and hand. It is a labor intensive job. You do not have time to come outside of the cave, stand on the block, and see what everybody else is doing. You do not have time to go inside somebody else's cave and see what it is that they're mining. Why? Because I'm in my cave mining my own business at all times.
Oh, I
That's
love
something
that.
that we do heavy.
Yeah,
That's a life lesson.
it
Mining.
is.
Mine
Minding your own business.
your own business.
Yeah.
That one is big. That one is, that has kept us for a very long time. So I don't look at competitors. I don't look at what it is they're doing. I get that's trending, this trending, that's all great. But let me tell you about Ashtay. This is what we're doing. And that's great that that's what they're doing, but this is what we're doing. And I keep it at that. So minding our own business is probably a big thing that keeps us resilient. And the second thing would be that we really, really focus on the mission of our company. And I am believing that staying focused on the mission of our company will be what gets us through this next level of growth. And that mission is that we empower licensed cosmetologists and small business owners to build generational wealth from behind the chair to beyond. That is our mission.
I love it.
So those stylists that my parents were able to invest into Ashtay, they were able to do that because we've been teaching financial literacy classes since 94. And those stylists have become wealthy individuals to the point that they have the disposable income to invest back into the company that helped them get where they were going. Right? We
Okay.
have stylists who can say, I have become a millionaire because of the education that Ashtay has provided. I am now a six-figure stylist because of the education that Ashtay has provided. I'm a single mom. However, my business brings in $200,000 a year, and I can pay for my child's college education without any loans because of the education that Ashtay has provided. And for me, staying true to that mission is way more important than how many bottles of shampoo we sell, to be quite
I love
honest.
it. I love it. I
Yeah.
love that y'all are pouring into other people.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Because sometimes we get successful or we find success and we carry it alone and we're like, well, I'm good.
True.
And I love the fact that y'all are pulling back, you're reaching back and you're helping.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. Well, let me ask you this other question, Shelly and Taylor, and then Shelly, you can jump in and maybe add to it. What advice would you give to someone? I'm sure there are people out there that thought about starting a business or have daughters or children that want to start a business because this, you have that vision of it, but how do you really do it? How do you get it started? What are some things that your parents shared with you of how they really got it started?
Um, I mean, I hate to copy Nike, but just do it. There is no other, there really is no other secret than that. It's literally just do it. And this is, I had to get this advice when I started my property management firm 8 years ago. I was, I had people who wanted me to manage their properties before I was really even ready to take on clients. And my mother had to give me a pep talk and be like, just do it. I mean, just like, come on, like, come on. You created the LLC. That's cute, but like, let's move forward, right? Like, you just need to do it. Like, literally, she said, what's the worst thing that could happen? And it's having that mentality of, a lot of times people think, well, the worst thing that could happen is I could go broke and that's everything. Well, okay, let's think about this realistically, right? If you are already entrepreneurial, you have some wits about you, right? You have some education. You have a good head on your shoulders, I'm assuming. You have the ability to get a job because you're probably in a job right now, right? So you are hireable, you are employable. So the worst thing that could happen is it doesn't work out and then you go work somewhere else. That's literally the worst thing that could happen. Now, if you are not employable, you are not educated, you are not physically able, you have no wits about you, you do not have a good head on your shoulders, right? Then all of those things, yes, I might say, just stay where you are. But people really discount the basic things that you need to be successful, which is all up here.
Mm-hmm.
It's all up here. It's not about how much money you have to put into it. It's really about what you have up here, how much grit and consistency you're willing to put into it after that. So I think the simplest thing is just to say, just do it. If it doesn't work, it's not the end of the world, because quite honestly, not everyone is meant to start a business. Some people are meant to take over one. Some people are meant to help another one grow. Some people are meant to help support one, right? It's like the same in a church setting. Not everybody can be the pastor.
Exactly.
Somebody has to be the usher. Somebody has got to be the choir. Somebody has got to be the person behind the scenes running the cameras. Someone has got to be the people chatting and the online chat online. It is not everybody's job to be the pastor.
The pastor, yeah. You got to have the choir. You got to have the teachers. Yeah. Yes.
Correct.
Everybody has a part. That's true.
Yeah. So you might start it and realize, you know what? This wasn't for me. But you know what? I learned something about myself and I'm going to go do this. Or you might start it and realize, wow, this is really successful. Or you might start it and realize, hey, this is successful, but I don't know if I want to do this full time. You have to be able to give yourself the grace to let whatever is supposed to happen.
Let it happen.
Learn the lesson that's supposed to happen in the process, whatever that lesson might be.
Yes, that's awesome. That is so awesome. That's such a life lesson for all of us. Yeah. Thank you so much for that. Yeah. And I have a question about the products themselves. Okay. So are the products only for cosmetologists to purchase, or can individuals purchase them as well? And then tell us a little bit about the products, the hair care products that you have.
Absolutely. So I'll start with the second question first. So we carry a full line of products, from relaxer system, shampoo system, conditioning system, and finishing and styling products. And we carry all sizes, retail for the general public, as well as back bar for stylists and cosmetologists. Our main goal, right? Our mission is for the licensed cosmetologist. That is who we were created for. That is who we mostly sell to. Okay. However, through things like this, online, word of mouth, from stylists, that sort of thing, general public can buy retail items. So they can buy shampoos, conditioners, and finishing and styling products. Things like our lock and twist, our silly gloss to finish styles, our foam, which is super powerful, our edge control, right? General public cannot buy things like our protein treatments, our relaxers, our colors.
Okay.
So that's kind of how we manage to be able to appease both audiences, because not all stylists retail. So general public, they can get the products from stylists that retail it in their salon, or they can get it online from Ashtay. However, we do not sell to Amazon. Or through Amazon, we do not sell to Sally's, Walmart, Target, TJ Maxx, any of those stores.
Okay.
We are strictly professional on the store side, and online general public can buy from us.
Awesome. Very good. Thank you so much for sharing.
That was my other question, because I was going to ask you about if you retail in like other stores, or have you ever been pressured to sell like in a Sally's or some other venue?
We do. We get inquiries. It's one of those things, right, where I was saying that we're kind of at a point where we really stick to the mission, right? Obviously, it would be beneficial for us financially to just sell to the general public, quite honestly, because the margins are higher selling to the general public. Whereas selling to stylists, we position it so that way the stylists make more money on the product than we do. And but that's just like I said, it's we're more focused on the mission than we are the money that we're making. So yeah, we have a question up
Okay.
on the screen. Let's see.
Yes. So from Linda Bell, she says so many of us are using medications that take your hair out. So what's a good product for that?
Ms. Linda, that's a really, really great question. It's definitely something that happens across the board to a lot of people, whether it's cholesterol medication, blood pressure medication. Those medications have a lot of side effects on your hair, whether it be turning your hair green or yellow, or the stress of them, causing hair loss and hair thinning. And there's just
Mm-hmm.
so many different things that can happen.
Yeah.
Of course, my go-to thing is always going to be, like I said, we're dedicated to stylists. So my go-to thing is going to be to find an Ashtay stylist near you that you can go to on a regular basis. That is what we push, right? I believe in supporting small business and supporting local business and
Mm-hmm.
supporting Black stylists, minority stylists, who are quite honestly very much the backbone of our communities. I am a very big pusher for that. It's one of the few service-based businesses, and quite honestly, one of the few only any type business that still belongs to minorities.
Yes,
So I'm a big supporter
it
of
is.
supporting that,
I
right?
agree.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
Now, if that is not possible, I would recommend, proper hair care maintenance is key every single week or every 2 weeks, whatever consistency is to you, right? A lot of times we discount shampoo and conditioning. I don't know what it is about all these online things with YouTube and all this stuff. However, shampoo and conditioning, like proper shampoo and conditioning is the start of a proper hair care journey and hydration process. And especially when you're dealing with medications that are going into your bloodstream and out through your hair, you really
Mm-hmm.
need to make sure that you are properly clarifying your hair. We have a great clarifying shampoo. We have
Mm-hmm.
a really great volumizing detangling shampoo. So people who do have thin, fine, wiry hair,
Mm-hmm.
that volumizing detangling shampoo really helps to go in and expand it like oatmeal does. It swells it. And then also with the conditioning part, our cream revitalizer treatment is a really great treatment for damaged, brittle hair or even chemically treated hair. And then use a great leave-in conditioner. Our Moisture Plus is so popular. You can use it every single day if you wanted to. And the great thing is because we are salon exclusive, our products are very highly concentrated. So you just need
Uh,
a small amount that can go into your hair on a daily or weekly basis as a leave-in conditioner. Those would probably be the main things that I recommend, right? The finishing and styling stuff, that is just to get the style done. But
right.
at the heart of hair care is that shampooing and conditioning process. And a lot of times we really, really discount that. So, Miss Linda, that'd be my advice for you.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, so where is Ashtay all across the nation, or are you based in North Carolina?
So, our headquarters, our office, we have a couple of employees that work out of Greensboro, North Carolina. And then we literally have remote employees that are all over the world, including myself. And then our warehouse is based in Illinois.
Okay.
And then all of our educators, so our educators are full-time stylists and salon owners that go out to different events and represent us. All of our educators are all across the East Coast and then a few through the Midwest as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we're a little bit of everywhere. As far as where we sell to, we're in salon centric stores nationwide. So salon centric is similar to a Sally's, but it is salon professionals only. They have to have a license to have an account there.
Mm-hmm.
And salon centric has close to 700 locations nationwide, 300 sub stores nationwide. So there's salon centric, State Beauty Supply, and RDA ProMart. So everywhere across the US, we're sold there. We also sell to Canada, several Caribbean islands. We have distributors. And also, as of last month, we have a distributor in Ghana and Africa as well. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Very good. Very good. That's amazing. So, one more question. Sister Deborah Frederick asked a question about hair thinning being hereditary. Hereditary. Is that is it from lack of care or is it heredity?
You know, to be honest, that's a hard question. I believe it can be yes and no. And honestly, that kind of gets to the point where you either need to speak to a dermatologist or a hairstylist that specializes in hair loss, like a trichologist, in order to understand the reasoning behind hair thinning. Because sometimes it is due to alopecia, sometimes it is due to stress. And if the stress that you are experiencing is something that is just happening generation after generation, then yes, it may seem as though that thing is hereditary, right? It's kind of like that's kind of like asking in our community. I always thought diabetes was genetic. Or there's different forms. You know how you go to the doctor and they ask you all these questions about, do your parents have this? Does this run in your family, right? And so I always thought that these things were genetic. But what I learned afterwards is that you are predisposed to certain things because of your environment and your upbringing and the things that you learned and maybe did not learn regarding your eating and your health and your well-being. However, just because your mom and dad had diabetes does not mean at all that you are genetically going to get diabetes.
Right.
So I say that to say, right, hair loss, hair thinning it can be along the same lines, right? You have to look at what is the root cause of that and attack that specifically, because you're not experiencing hair thinning for no reason. There is a cause to that, right?
Right.
Whether it be diet, whether it be lifestyle, whether it be stress management, whether it be alopecia, whether it be some other type of skin disorder, those are the types of things that you would have to root out first, and that would be going to a professional to analyze that.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Now, Ashtay in Houston. You have any in Houston, Texas?
I'm gonna have to look that up, and then I'm gonna have to send y'all a list.
Yeah, because you mentioned Ashtay stylist. I was going to ask that too. Is like, how do you so you have to sign up for classes, or y'all offer some type of trainings? If so, can we get them in Houston?
So
we need y'all here.
I know. Houston is so awesome. Like last year we did probably 3 events in Houston. At 2 that were at RDA ProMart stores, and one in where is Pearl, Texas? Is that near Dallas or is that near Houston?
Ooh, I don't know. If anybody knows, let us know in the chat, because I'm not sure. Pearl, Texas.
We have a Pearland, but not
Pearland. Sorry.
Pearland. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Pearland.
Where's that?
Like south. It's like near south. What is it? Like south?
Southeast. It's southeast of Houston proper. So it's like maybe 20 to 30 minutes from us, from where we are. Yes.
Okay, look, I was like, Pear something. Pear.
Yeah. Pearl. Thanks, Tracy. That's it. Pearland. Yeah.
Yes, there we go. So yeah, we did an event in Pearland, Texas, Houston, Texas, at another RDA ProMart. And then we also did this show. There's a show that's for stylists called Image Expo Houston. We did that last October. So we try to get to Houston a couple of times per year. Texas is a top 10 state for us. So we do try to make sure we hit the Texas area twice a year. We'll be in Texas later this year in October. So that should be a lot of fun.
Yes, well, we look forward to that. So when you come, is it for stylists only? Is it like for cosmopolitans? I mean, not cosmetologists. Is it for them only?
So the events that we go to, yes, they usually are stylists only. However, we always put out ads for general public to be models for us.
Okay.
So we have this really great model experience that people enjoy. So like we're trying to get better about sending it out via email. So when we're in a city, we'll say, hey, we're at this show and we need 10 people to come and get their hair done. And
Mm-hmm.
people who come in, like they end up being model for us in different cities. They absolutely love it. Our stylists take really great care of them and they get their hair done for free by some of the best people in the industry. So um,
Yes.
that we do. So we put it out there. They don't have to pay. They just
Okay.
come to the show. We'll get them entry and we do their hair. Everything from shampooing, conditioning, deep treatments, styling, the whole nine. So people really enjoy that experience.
Well, great. You have to let us know when you come, Taylor,
Yes,
because
yes.
we'll jump
Actually,
all over that.
We would
look,
Yes.
love
I need to
that.
come to First Met.
Yeah. Yes. That would be
Mhm.
awesome. That
Or
would
like
be
ladies'
awesome.
Yeah.
conference. That'd be great for the women's conference.
Yeah, for the women's conference.
Oh, when is
Yes.
your women's conference?
It's in July. It's the
Okay.
third weekend in July.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
definitely we need to talk. We need to talk after this. So
After, yes, for sure. For sure. So, do you have any? So, what's on the horizon for Ashtay?
oh, good question. What is on the horizon? This is me speaking in faith because that was my pastor's message for today.
Mm-hmm.
um, what's on the horizon for us is that we are going global. Well, we already
Mm-hmm.
are global, but we are going global to another level.
Mm.
And it is my hope to see Ashtay among minorities in countries around the world. So whether it be a Afro Latina that is in Guatemala or Panama, or whether it be other countries in Africa like South Africa and Nigeria, I am believing in faith that we are going to be in those countries within the next 16 months. That is my goal and vision for Ashtay products.
That's wonderful. We look forward to that, and any way that we can help you or be a part of that, we are excited to be a part.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies. This has been so good.
Yes, it has. It has. So, if there are any in the audience that have any further questions for Taylor, we would love to for you to ask those questions. Tracy, did you have any other questions for
No,
Taylor?
I'm just excited, and I really hope that y'all are able to grace us at our women's conference because it's just we spend Black women across the world, we spend so much money to be beautiful,
Yeah.
and it's just really encouraging that y'all are just not just restricted to one particular area, but y'all are going global across the nations to help us get there. So
Yeah.
thank y'all for that. And then even your vision of taking what your parents gave you and making it better and doing more and more with it. That is so awesome. And
Thank you.
congratulations to you and your parents and your legacy. And Godspeed, Godspeed.
Thank you. Thank you, Tracy. I really appreciate that. Definitely appreciate that. Ms. Deborah said, you have your models already. Okay, well, thank you.
So, Taylor, is there anything that you'd like to leave us with? I mean, I know we covered so much today, and it's been an awesome show. Is there anything you'd like to share out with us that we haven't covered today, or just words of wisdom or encouraging us to continue on in this entrepreneurial world? So, is there anything else you'd like to share with us?
Sure. This is probably words to myself today more than what is words to y'all, but I believe it will probably apply to you too. But just continue to have faith in the things that you do not see. Work out that faith through the actions that you do every single day, and really believe in that faith more than anything, whether that's faith for you to start a new business, faith to continue in the job you're at, faith to just believe for whatever it is that you want to see happen. Just continue to have faith for the things that you do not see. just yet.
It's beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
And both of our ministers preached on that today as well.
Is okay.
Having
Well,
faith,
we're fitting with
even in
faith.
our community life group. Yes, we talked about having faith as well.
Yeah.
Yes. So Taylor, we want to thank you so much for coming. I do have one more question.
Okay.
So the hair care products, I should have asked this when we were talking about the products themselves. So are the products for natural hair as well as relaxed hair? You may have addressed that and I missed it. But are the products for both types of hair?
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Okay.
Literally every type of hair. Our heavenly foam, you can use that to mold a wet set after doing a relaxer, or you can use that heavenly foam after finishing some braid styles, or you can use that heavenly foam to do a 2-strand comb twist. I mean, it's so versatile. So absolutely, that was really why we're intended. I'm relaxed. My sister is completely natural. So we are representing the spectrum.
Yes. Awesome. That is so awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
thank you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And everyone that's in the audience, we want you to go to www.ashtay.com and see what products are available. I was excited to see all the educators when I looked at
Yeah.
when I looked on the website, and I was wondering, well, wonder what what are they doing? But now I understand. Yes.
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 They teach. We do online classes every week for stylists, or every it seems like every week for stylists. And then, like I said, we go to a lot of trade shows and events where they're teaching stylists in person as well. So we're big on education. And then we even do our in-person retreats, whether it be women's conference, business classes, financial literacy, real estate retreat. So we do a lot of education like that. And most of our in-person stuff is not just limited to stylists. Our in-person retreats and conferences are really for anybody. But we mainly focus on small business owners and entrepreneurs. And then our women's retreat and our real estate ones are just for anybody.
Yeah. That's wonderful.
Yes.
What a wonderful business model. I love it.
Thank you. Thank y'all so much. I just want to express thank you so much for having me on the Tea Talk Club. I have my tea ready to go. I am an herbal tea drinker every single day. So got my tea bag in here.
Yes. The Tea Talk. So thank you for joining Tea Talk on today. And thank you everyone else for joining us as well. We will see you next week.
Thank you.
With Lady O. Bye-bye.